excerpt from my fantasy novel, The Sword in the Cellar. This scene takes place after 12-year-old Aylin discovers a frog with glowing red eyes in the woods. No one at school believes her story, and she and her brother Finn are sent home to their mother, who is none too pleased. They were not allowed to play that afternoon. Instead, Mom made them dig stones from the garden. After dinner, they were sent straight to bed. Aylin was frustrated that she hadn't had a chance to search for the frog. She felt restless, lying in the dark, unable to sleep. From across the room, Finn spoke. "Tell me another story about Eggy." She heard him turn towards her and saw the faint glitter of his eyes. "I'm tired," she lied. She forced a loud, drawn-out yawn. "Come on," he pleaded, "a short one. Eggy should fight a dragon or something." She rolled her eyes. "Eggy's a duck." "Yeah, well, with the right weapons, he could still fight a dragon. Maybe he could..." He stopped suddenly. "Did you hear that?" Aylin listened hard. Through the drafty, summer-thin walls, the night sounds rang clear. An owl hooting, wind rustling grass and leaves, branches whining against one another, and then a loud crack in the distance, like a tree being snapped in two. "There it is again," Finn exclaimed. She sat up. "What is it?" "I don't know. Something in the woods. Maybe it's your frog," he teased. They waited in silence. Several seconds went by before they heard the sound again. "I'll bet it's a boar," Finn yelled. He hopped out of bed. "Mom will be mad." "No, she won't. She's probably asleep." When they tiptoed into the cozy living room, they saw that not only was their mother wide awake, but she wasn't even dressed for bed. The dying embers in the fireplace rimmed Ma's bent back with orange light. She was looking between the slats of the front door. Aylin hesitated, but Finn's curiosity overwhelmed any caution. "What is it, Ma?" he asked quietly. Their mother didn't look back at them, but only murmured, "Strange." Finn shuffled past her to the small window beside the door. Moonlight poured through its half-open shutters and onto the floor. Ma hissed, "Stay away from the window." Finn looked at Aylin and shrugged. He moved over to where she stood behind Ma. "What do you think it is?" she asked. She hoped it might be the big stag that sometimes visited their woods. The last time she'd spotted it, she'd counted 16 points on its rack, the most she'd ever seen, but it hadn't come around in a while. "It's probably nothing. Probably just Ma's voice was cut off by a loud thump that sounded closer than before." Aylin saw a thin sphere of light puncturing the darkness to their right. She tiptoed over to it. Cool air slid into the house through a gap between the stones, ruffling her nightdress. She crouched down and peered through the crack. At first she thought a cobweb or cocoon blocked the woods from her view. She realized with a start that she was looking at a thick, obscuring fog. As she watched, the old oak was slowly disappearing into the ferning mist. Their flag, still hanging where they'd tied it yesterday, vanished behind a curling tendril. Within the fog's white belly, branches cracked and leaves stirred. Whatever it was coming nearer. "Let me see," Finn said, pulling her aside. "Oh." His mouth hung open as he stared through the gap. In the tiny slant of light, she could see his wide brown eye and the freckles crowding the skin around it. There was another loud thud. The floor trembled. "Maybe it's a herd of deer," she offered. She tried squeezing him beside her brother, but he shoved her away. "Ma, I think I see something," Finn whispered. "There's something red." Ma suddenly whirled around. "Come on," she said. She grabbed Aylin's arm and pulled her and Finn across the room. "What, Ma? What'd you see?" Aylin asked. Their mother didn't answer. She let go of them and started pushing at one side of the ancient desk they used for homework. Wood groaned as the desk slid across the floor. "What's that?" Finn said, pointing. A small metal ring was set into the floor where the desk had been. Ma grabbed the ring in both hands and pulled. A section of floor came up and swung to one side. Aylin was stunned. A trap door in their house, all this time. She and Finn had explored every nook, every cranny, or so she thought. Their mother knelt beside the dark hole and thrust her arm into it. She withdrew something that glinted brightly in the firelight. It was a sword. The quiver of fear in Aylin's chest dropped into her stomach and curdled there. "You have a sword?" Finn asked. "Get in, both of you," Ma ordered. "Lean into the..." "Yes, Finn. Climb down, then help your sister." "But it's not a far drop. Go on." Finn scrambled to the edge of the hole. He threw Aylin a quick, worried look before jumping into it. When he stood up again, the top of his head came just below the floorboards. Aylin sat down beside the opening. Her heart raced. Ma. She looked back to see her mother clenching the sword, staring at the front door as if expecting something to burst through it at any moment. The house shook again. Ma didn't flinch, only raised the sword higher. Then she noticed Aylin. I said, get down there. The eyes that met Aylin's were remote and frightening. Now. Aylin dangled her legs into the darkness, more afraid than she'd ever been in her life. Grab her, Finn, came the order. Finn gripped Aylin beneath the shoulders. He lowered her until her bare feet touched cool, damp dirt. Ma appeared in the opening above them. The firelight caught in her tawny hair and cast a brilliant halo around her unreadable face. Now be quiet. No matter what happens, stay down there until I tell you it's safe. What about you? Aylin cried. Terror gripped her insides. Shh, I'll be fine, her mother soothed, sounding again like herself. She ducked out of sight. Aylin heard her warning in that other commanding tone. Finn, watch your head. And the light above them fell away.